guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Queen Gaming, and some of you now on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon, today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Temptations Ballad. So y'all, before we jump into it, just wanted to let y'all know that our Patreon is now for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel and get some awesome rewards like permanent access to our community Discord server and full access to upcoming Not Safe for Work videos. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alright. I hope what I said did not bother you too much. The old bat paused and adjusted her glasses. Are you okay, Artemi? Because frankly, you look like shit. Artemi sniffed and tried to hide the ragged red circles around her eyes. I may have gotten into another argument with Her Excellency. Ah, Katrina, was it? We used to be colleagues while I worked under King Roderick. Did plenty of celestial research together for the church. She was always that guy in our group projects. Whatever she said to you, I advise you pay it no mind. Heavens no, I never did. Artemi shook her head firmly. No, I'm afraid the fault lies squarely on my shoulders. The conversation got a little heated, and in my agitation I lost control of my magic. Her Excellency was rightfully concerned and asked me to leave. Agatha's eyes narrowed. Lost control of your magic? That's usually a sign of some sort of internal imbalance. Wait, she makes her own kid call her Her Excellency? Creator sagging tits, Katrina. Get your head out of your ass. Oh, sorry, where was I? Has this happened before? This is the sort of thing you'd want to talk to your healer about. I'm afraid my medical instructor, Sir Theomore, is away on a mission at the moment. Theomore? That wolf medic who never shuts up? Well, that's a bit harsh. Though Sir Theomore is certainly talkative. My dear, that's just a polite way of saying he never shuts up. The old bat scratched her chin thoughtfully as she looked Artemi up and down. If you would like, I can give you a small arcane checkup and see where these bursts of magic are originating from. Oh, truly? Are you certain? I wouldn't want to impose. Although it would be rather worrisome if I lost control of myself again at an inopportune time. Oh, it's no trouble at all. As an arcane researcher studying life magic, I'm certain it is within my ability to help you. And I've always wanted to see how the Creator's chosen magic works. I assure you, this is a mutually beneficial arrangement. Agatha smiled and gently grasped Artemi's hand. The bat's usual cheeky tone shifted to a more professional inflection. Now, I want you to understand that this procedure involves probing rather deeply into your magical core. The process includes scanning the subconscious of your mind to pinpoint the origin of these outbursts. I will only do so if I have your consent. And if you feel uncomfortable at any point, I can stop at a moment's notice. Do I have your permission? Artemi stared down at her hands, the thumbs of her gloves frayed thin from her anxious gnawing. The sight of her mother's raw, jagged scars flashed through her mind. If she could prevent further outbursts in the future, perhaps she could make things less tense at home. At the very least, Her Excellency could finally speak to her without that mixture of fear and distance in her eyes. Artemi sucked in a deep breath and nodded. You have my permission. Do whatever it is you need to do. The enchanter peered at her with a flash of concern before nodding. Very well. Let us begin. A gentle wash of lavender light poured from Agatha's arms to her own. It felt like submerging her hands in a warm bath. A comforting fragrant scent filled her nose, like that of a freshly brewed pot of tea. Now, I want you to close your eyes. Recall the moments where you've lost control of your magic. What were you feeling in those moments? What emotions clouded your mind? Artemi's brow furrowed. These were rather unpleasant memories to dwell upon. Her mother's furious face, the shouting, the sheer anxiety of her heart pounding against her chest, and the frigid cold threatening to take her as she desperately clutched a tiny flickering candle to her chest. The world suddenly went white. The pit of her stomach lurched as though she was falling a great height. Artemi squeezed her eyes shut and buried her head in her hands. The world was spinning around her in a kaleidoscope of colors. What was happening? A pair of hands seized her and everything suddenly steadied. Artemi felt her feet in the ground. In a stumble to steady herself, her eyes flickered open. Oh. Beautiful. Taking y'all. Water time. Alrighty. The first thing that hit her was just how bright and cold everything was. Artemi shielded her face from the buffeting snow and wind. The harsh light reflecting off every pale surface made the world almost blinding. What is this place? Agatha stood beside her, taking in the sight with awe. This is your mindscape, a mental construction of your subconscious. To the surprise of no one, magic is greatly affected by the emotional state of its user. My plan was to search for any anomalous signs. The bat shivered and pressed her wings close for warmth. Most mindscapes I've seen were abstract reconstructions of hometowns or sentimental locations. Suffice to say, I've never seen one in the middle of a blasted snowstorm before. Artemi felt a lump form in her throat as she scanned her surroundings. This forest was uncomfortably familiar, right down to the snow rolling across the land. Small frozen candles littered the riverbank as far as the eye could see. Is there anything you want to talk about, Chosen One? Got some sort of deep-seated love for snowstorms or something? Artemi shook her head quietly. I never liked the cold. Agatha snorted. That all you got for me? It's fine, no need to share more than you're comfortable with. For now, let us focus on that. The enchanter jabbed a finger towards the blindingly bright stream beside them. Flecks of celestial light flickered across its surface like frozen fireflies. Liquid gold carved across the snowfield with a delicate flow. I believe that is the flow of your celestial strength. If my hunch is right, we will find the answer to our concerns if we follow it upstream. This is the source of my strength? Yes, a mental representation of it at least. Things look rather normal enough. There's nothing here that explains why your magic would go out of control in a moment of tension. It is strange, though. Perhaps it is because I've never studied Creators Chosen before, but this whole situation feels very... Agatha paused and scratched her chin. No, let's avoid jumping to conclusions. Come along, Artemi. Let us see where this leads. The two made their way upstream, struggling to trek through the frozen riverside and biting wind. Artemi did her best to ignore the many candles that littered the land and a small trail of child-sized footsteps trailing into the woods. As they walked, her curiosity slowly got the better of her. Miss Agatha? What caught your attention earlier? Did you notice something strange? Artemi's brow furrowed. As a professional, I shouldn't make any early assumptions. Please, I insist. This is my mind and body, after all. I would like to know what bothers you so. I'm not sure how to put this, but there are aspects of your magical foundation that feel artificial. Artificial? There are traces of external meddling with your mindscape, as though its current form has been influenced in some way. If my hunch is correct, there should be more visible signs. The enchanter scratched her chin and slowly drifted off in her own thoughts. I suspect that somewhere along this little river we will find the source of your woes. Miss Agatha? Sure, I might just be misreading things, but you are the first Creators Chosen I've studied, but something here just feels off. Miss Agatha? I'm kind of surprised by the lack of lightning, too. That's sort of your thing, isn't it? Miss Agatha! Artemi nudged the distracted researcher, her eyes trained skyward in awe. What is it? Have you found something? Oh. Agatha followed her gaze and froze. Squinting through what she thought were the blinding rays of the sun through a thick cloak of snow, the sight before her took her breath away. Artemi, what is that? Second yell. Water time. Apple soaked in water adds quite a bit of flavor. Ooh. Oh. It's a giant fucking dam. It's an actual dam in her mind. Oh my god. And there's a crack in it, so it's weakened. The massive shadow of a massive stone dam loomed above as far as the eye could see. Near the base, a torrent of water spilled from the crack in the wall, forming into the small golden stream that flowed across the snowy forest. And as they strained their gaze above the stone visage, the sky split open, unleashing a cascade of celestial light upon the land that pulled into a brilliant golden sea that spanned the horizon. The sheer brilliance of the sight almost hurt to look upon, and holding back this rampant flood of celestial magic was this single, ragged stone dam. This dam, which at first sight felt immense in its own right, was utterly dwarfed by its colossal task. Artemi let out a breath she did not realize she was holding. What is this? The enchanter looked as stunned as she was. Agatha took a few trembling steps forward and pressed her palm against the cold stone structure. Is this the true capacity of the Creators Chosen? No, impossible. It feels too artificial. Too vast. No. Someone has been pulling strings to create this situation within you. This massive pool of celestial magic is in no way natural. A flash of lavender light enveloped Agatha's palm as she scanned the magic around her. The researcher's brow furrowed. And not just someone, either. Several separate parties have been sticking their hands where they don't belong. A slow, creeping dread shivered down Artemi's spine. What are you saying? The old bat fell silent. She continued studying her surroundings. She turned towards Artemi, carefully weighing her words. According to my observations of lingering arcane magic here, it appears that two opposing parties have been manipulating you. For what purpose, I can't say. The first party seem to have gotten their claws on you very early on. I dare say they've been pulling strings since your birth. Agatha jabbed a finger towards the cascading waterfall of celestial magic pouring from the sky. This is just conjecture, but I believe this group endeavored to turn you into the largest reservoir of celestial energy the world has ever seen. The sheer amount of raw power here is ridiculous. No mere mortal should be able to contain this. Agatha turned and tapped her knuckles against the stone dam. Then, at some point, a second party got involved and created this. They somehow placed an arcane inhibitor within you, thus preventing any of this excess magic from escaping. And this inhibitor seems deeply tied with your emotional state. The researcher's gaze narrowed. If I were to hazard a guess... Tell me, Artemi, in your youth, did you perhaps have a lot of trouble drawing on your powers the Creator's chosen? Were you unable to cast even the most basic spells no matter how hard you tried? Artemi bit back a wave of nausea swimming up her throat. That's correct. Yes. That would be due to this arcane inhibitor preventing any magic from escaping you. And it held fast throughout your youth, despite this absolutely massive sea of celestial energy. Then, and let me guess, a few years down the line, you experienced something rather upsetting. More upsetting and overwhelming than you could bear. The researcher's voice dipped as she traced her hand across the jagged crack in the dam's wall. And during this incident, your magic went out of control for the first time. I'd imagine it was rather explosive in nature, after being repressed for so long. It's like, water time. After this incident, this crack formed in this inhibitor, allowing you to finally harness a fraction of your powers the Creator's chosen. Artemi squeezed her eyes shut and quietly nodded. The blizzard's chill was slowly seeping through her armor and bit through her flesh like knives. You have the right of it. She lifted her head. Tell me frankly, Miss Agatha. Since I was born, I was told that I was chosen by the Creator. It was my duty to serve the church and the city's people from a disaster unseen. And thus did I dedicate my every moment of my life training and improving myself for this duty. It was all I knew. She turned towards the blinding cascade in the sky, a sickening feeling filling her chest. Are you saying that, after all this time, I was simply a pawn in some unknown party's game? Was my duty in life upon this point just a cruel lie? Was it all just to create this thing inside me? Agatha fell silent. She reached up to grasp Artemi's trembling hand with a sympathetic smile. Well, I don't know about this whole destined chosen one business. We researchers tend to be a secular bunch. But I can definitively say that despite this whole mess, you've grown into a fine knight and a kind young woman. The researcher smiled gently. Regardless of your origins, anyone would be proud to have you by their side. I think your little adventurer friends will eagerly attest to that. Artemi didn't look up, but she tried to force a small smile. The old bat sighed and tightened her grip around Artemi's hands. That being said, as a professional, I will have to ask you to be cautious in the future. This inhibitor, this dam, its resilience is directly tied to your emotional state. If you were to experience something traumatic or emotionally distressing in the future, there's a high chance that this dam will break in its entirety. What would happen to me if this dam breaks? Oh, how do I even describe this? Frankly, with all this celestial magic erupting all at once, it'd be like a bomb going off. Agatha adjusted her glasses and grumbled. As much as I hate to admit it, perhaps Katrina's decision to shelter you was wise in a way. Should I return to the cathedral? Oh, hells no! After an argument like that, get out of there and stay with some friends who actually care about you, and maybe reevaluate the people in your life and decide who you really ought to trust. The old bat sighed. That's probably a decision best made another time. When you have a clear head. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!